off their game. EnVyUs is also a very talented search and destroy team. You really can't take anything away from them in that regard, as they, I believe, have a 9-3 record when it comes to search and destroy. So these guys aren't anything to mess with. When it comes to those search and destroys, a lot of talented players. I mean, you look at what you said, Aches and Teep, who are just veteran players, and search and destroy obviously is in their arsenal of just overall play style. So as we hop into the ban and protect phase, really looking forward to see what we see banned off the start. And it looks like replays taking high caliber off the board.
Smart there. You don't want to have to deal with high caliber. It is a pain to deal with. Expect rapid fire to go as well. Overclock, we've been seeing that take the boot quite a bit. It's going to come from Slasher. That's been a ban that's been pretty consistent, in every single match I've casted. So not a surprise there. They have not let that one through. Concussions going. Okay. I like this. It's going to force either the flashbangs are going to go too. So a lot of the tacticals are going to be out of this one. Expect to see a lot of EMPs, so that's going to be used quite a bit. Rapid fire, as I mentioned previously, that definitely was going to go because we saw what Optic was capable of doing with rapid fire attach, and also what FaZe was capable of doing with rapid fire attach as well. And overkill, that's smart because that's going to force those players to have to think about, am I going to just go sniper only,
right,
or am I going to just avoid it altogether, right? But one thing I do want to point out, SVG has not gone yet.
It has not, and I'm getting excited.
Are you really?
I love the SVG. It's like, and one thing, obviously, for Luminosity, you have a very good pre-sniper and obviously replays. So in some cases, that could be Teep saying, you know what, we kind of want to not really have to ban it, but in some cases, when it comes to overkill, being able to have that in the back pocket is going to be very difficult. And obviously,
we're going to see the SVG.
We're
going to see it. All right.
Oh, I was kind of curious for that last ban, but Grip going to be shut down there as well. A very, very useful attachment. Don't see that all the time. But Aches going to get that one off the board there as well. So some interesting ban and protects off the start. And so we're going to see dual active camos coming out of Slasher and replays in their own regard.
Okay, Sean going for the kinetic armor, psychosis for JCap.
Okay.
Looking to cause a little bit more of a distraction there as well.
I wonder if Susie goes glitch, because he loves glitch. I wonder if we're going to see him actually pick it, and he's going to go with overdrive. So in some cases, I think, I don't know if you know exactly, but the G-slide was a major thing in competitive.
Yeah,
of course. And
I watched quite a bit of Pro League.
Okay.
I saw G-slide influence a lot of games.
And now that the G-slide kind of has been patched in some cases, the overdrive becomes much more useful. Not everyone has that speed boost kind of ability, and I think that it makes overdrive, kind of gives it a case a lot more useful when it comes to these games. And search and destroy can lead to a lot of first bloods if you're catching your enemy off guard.
Yeah, and Spacely is going to use that one expertly. I mean, he is a player who's very familiar with S&D. I mean, all these guys are. That's a pretty John Madden comment. But despite that, though, I mean, Spacely, he's been grinding, and I watch his streams all the time. And, I think that overdrive is going to disrupt Envy quite a bit. I mean, if I'm looking at the other side there, JCap with the psychosis should be interesting, especially if it goes down to like a 1v1 or if he's like in a 2v1 situation, that could help him out. Kinetic armor has always just been something that's useful, right? And heat wave on both sides for Saints and Teep, that makes a lot of sense. For Teep, it's about survivability. For Saints, it's about presence and being able to slay, right? If you know both of these players' play styles, TP, he's a great player, but Saints is definitely that guy who is I've always known him to be a great slayer. I don't know if these things have changed, and maybe it has, and I'm just not keeping up with it. Yeah, this is where I think these players are going to make those use cases as they create their classes.
Right, and I know every time that we talk about search and destroy, Revan's always like they need to grab kinetic armor. It's so useful when it comes to uplink. You constantly see it actually kind of be taken out of like uplink games, CTF games as well, and also in search and destroy. He always talks about you need to have kinetic armor.
Extra layer of health, man.
Exactly. It's so useful when it comes to search and destroy. Gunfights mean even more. You don't respawn necessarily until obviously the round's over and stuff. So being able to have that kind of saving your life in some senses, you're not guaranteed to live through that, but 1v2 situations, have the bomb. There's so many cases where you can really use it, and I think it always comes into use, and it's nice to see that both squads are kind of following the reins there and also picking up that kinetic armor.
For me, it's always about survivability, right? Can you, stay up and just manage to, I guess, outplay your opponent in 1v1, right? And typically in other Call of Duties, it came down to your movement. It came down to you not making a foolish play. Right. But with kinetic armor, you can kind of take that risk, right? And see if it rewards you. Of course, you'll still get melted, right? Especially if, if let's say you have rapid fire equipped and kinetic armor kind of just becomes nullified. Yeah. But I think that, for search and destroy is a very smart pick here. Kinetic armor in general. Anything that gives you extra survivability is huge, especially in a one health game or one life game type like search and destroy. But these players are getting ready to go. All right, Landon, you got any picks? Who you think Envy can answer back here?
I think they can, to be realistic. I mean, we talked about their record in the Call of Duty World League, but off the start, I mean, when it comes to respawns, they definitely weren't preferred. We'll see how EnVy does if they're going to be on, I believe, what is the defensive side off the break here. We'll see how they do. The B side is definitely going to be the preferred one off the break, as you're going to see 4 players immediately from EnVy rush. 1 player going to be sitting through middle, and looks like Teep looking for that first blood at the start as he gets very aggressive. Yeah,
so you see a little split there, but man, look at that. Immediately, Slasher gets a double kill there on 2 players. That was huge, but John, you have to take a seat. Eggs is going to be there for the stop, and now it's all up to Replays. He has that SVG, and I almost believe that EnVy, you know, like if you look at the way they played that, right, they almost had this thought that LG's like, oh man, they let us have the SVG, and they took advantage of that, right? No sniper kills. Those were all M8 kills, but actually players just charging him here. Can he stay up? He cannot. Replays will go down. That's going to be Eggs with the stop there. And yeah, you could see that passive play coming from LG at the start.
Yeah.
EnVy read that like a book.
Oh, yeah.
And they pushed it, got aggressive, and they were able to get those kills.
Yeah, we're coming straight at you. They sit 2 inside a greenhouse, which is obviously the preferred bomb site. You know, Replays was kind of like, what just happened to my teammates? Like, where did they just go? But obviously, sending 2 through middle and obviously sending 2 through B was just a brilliant strategy out of EnVy. And I want to see what they're kind of up to. Looks like Slasher and Eggs, the guys to pick up half of the lineup for that Luminosity roster. We'll see what they decided to do here off the start. Going to see exactly if they're running any snipers. Looks like some Kudas and some M8s off the break.
No snipers for them.
Nothing out of the ordinary. It looks like we might see Replays possibly with that sniper rifle.
Because you know what snipers do? They make you play slower, but Replays, though, he's going to find one. That SVG, and Teep just killed JCap. Well, that's that one. That's unfortunate. But Replays, he got the beat, and he saw him. Replays just hits him in the hip, man. Oh, my goodness, get that one replaced. GG, Eggs can't really do much there. And I thought, to be honest with you, that LG, you know, they were playing a little too passive, so EnVy wanted to take advantage of that. But you know what, though? When you're playing on that side, you can play passive. Replay's going huge for that SVG, man. That's why it's kind of bad. You do not want to let him have that.
I wonder if we're going to see any A pushes over to Palace. That's the main question for me. It's like, what team decides to do that risk off the start? And usually a team who does take a risk, you know, the defending team now coming into offense after that last round, typically does the same thing. So it's all about when you're going to switch things up, when you're going to do something a little bit different, as we might actually see a possible B push coming in out of the side.
They're doing a they're doing a 3-1 split here, and Replays is trying to be the guy that sends those distractions forward to that B bomb site. So that's smart, but it's up to his teammates to get those kills, right? And he got the read. They were like, guys, we have 2 people at very least pushing up here. We have to be careful. And Slasher, man, just able to get that kill. Finds another one. That's going to be a big double kill there for Slasher. Can he get the 3rd? Oh, he gives him the whack. Huge plays there from Slasher, single-handedly shutting down LG. Now it's going to be up to Replays again, and he's wondering, what the heck happened to my teammates, dog? Like, it's
Where'd they go?
Where'd they go? Why'd they die? Don't leave me. Don't leave me. It's like a sad puppy. Oh, man, this is tough. This is really tough for LG. But Slasher, that is why players like Aches and TB look for talent like Slasher. They did the same thing with Crim6 back in Black Ops 2. They said, who's going to be the guy that's going to be like a secret beast? And that, of course, I think Slasher, man, this kid's so talented.
It really is. You know, one of the most talented players that we have in all of the game. And Replays able to stay alive here, able to find a kill over on JCap. Slasher still possibly going for the ace, potentially.
They know where he's
looking
at.
They know exactly where he is. Yeah, they're basically targeting him. He might actually try to go for a little bit of a rotation over to A, and he completely gets them off guard, and that's going to be a free cap over on A.
Can I just talk about how freaking smart that was? He shot his gun and just completely distracted Teep and Slasher, made them believe that he was going over to B because maybe he misfired, right? Typically, that's not something you would see, but that is that veteran gameplay from Replays, the fact that they couldn't read that. And Replays finds one. It's going to be a 1v1. Huge plays here. Can he clutch it? Yes, he does! Big plays out of Replays. Wow.
What a fantastic play. Replay 6-1 start for him as he's able to find one, drops the second as well. We were talking about, can Slasher get the ace? Well, in the end, it was Mr. Replays absolutely destroying that rotation you mentioned, kind of lingering out the EnVy players. That was just overall veteranship out of him as he's able to get that one down and give Luminosity.
God, that right there is why I love Search and Destroy. Right there. That is just a testament to just how awesome this game type is, because you could do things like that, really thinking outside of the box there. So impressed. But let's see if Luminosity can follow this one up, Landon, because, you know, it's been trading back and forth each round here. So EnVy, you know, if history repeats itself, could come back. But Replays, he has that SVG, and we saw the damage that he could do with it. Just finding players as well. And he also has that kinetic armor, too.
He does. We'll see when he decides to Also using a fantastic shot there on JCap. They've got to realize Replays is just a fantastic player with that sniper rifle. Can he back up? He needs to stay alive here. He does have all of his streaks in use for those next couple of rounds, so he's definitely doing the work for his squad. You can see LG kind of forcing a little bit of a push here over in construction, and they're all going to fall. Fantastic job out of Luminosity. John going to be on the bomb defusal, as he's also going to have streaks. So this is looking pretty good for Luminosity. Looks like we got some streaks out of Replays, and nothing else exactly for the side of LG off the start, but they are looking fantastic in this overall series. 3-1 is the lead as they take 2 back-to-back.
That's the problem, right? How do you shut down a player like Replays, who is pretty much owning the top of that roof there and just shredding you with the SVG, right? He's the Overwatch. He's the Hawk, right? And he's looking for those easy picks, and they're giving it to him. They're giving it to him. But I would say maybe not the easiest. I should rephrase that statement. You know, don't get me wrong, EnVy's doing all they can to stay covered, but that SVG, man, is just absolutely deadly, especially with that thermal sight. Like, there's just not a lot you could do there. But LG, I could see them taking this round as well with how things have been going so far. It's all going to come down to this first blood, without a doubt. TP's going to find one, but he can't quite follow through with the kill there, as he will get picked off. And that is going to make things into a 1v1, though. John and Teep both have to take a seat, and Spacely and the crew realizing, you know, we're going to have to rotate because there's just too much activity going on over by the A site.
That's the issue with the A-bomb site. You know, being able to kind of realize and kind of catching your enemy off guard. It just didn't seem to happen. EnVy had 3.
Who's that player on the flank right there? That was Replays. Okay,
yeah,
so Replays are trying to get a little gully and push up there and be aggressive. I could see EnVy taking this round just because, you know, they do have that man advantage, and they know exactly what their play is. You can see those arrows begin to focus his attention in that manner. There's not a lot they could do there. JCap wall running, finding one's going to be Saint. Spacey's going to be by himself looking for one, but he's going to get team shot right away, and that's going to do it for that round as EnVy will get it. Now, who's going to get the defuse? Yeah,
I think they're just looking for trophies to see if they can find anything to add to those possible score streaks, get those built up as quick as possible. None of these guys are really that close, but it looks like Mr. Patrick Price going to punch in those digits.
Yeah, the most points.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Punch in the digits and obviously take down that round there for EnVy. Like I said, that rotation over to A, it's so risky because it's like, you know, do we catch the enemy off guard? EnVy kind of read it. They knew exactly what was happening. The rotation came in, and while the bomb did go down, 2v3 situation, you know, being down in overall man count just didn't really work out for them in the end.
Yeah.
1v2 for Saints as he's just not able to stay alive there in the end. So fantastic round out of EnVy. Being able to read that one is they're now going to be on the offensive side. What bomb site they go to is really the major question. Do they duplicate that or do they do something different? They've looked absolutely exceptional, but the man to be watching out for has got to be Replays. Who's going to have that sniper rifle in his hands.
He's going to go to that same spot, overlooking B, making sure no one's going to fight him. I mean, here's the other thing, too, right? He has lightning. He has a Hellstorm. He also has his kinetic armor. Like, the survivability for him is super high right now, but I also think EnVy did identify that. That's why they made an A push, because the rooftops are going to protect him. The ceiling will protect him there, so they don't have to worry about that. But they do have a HCXD coming, so that is something that I think they have to be very cautious about. Yeah, there it is. Right by that doorway there, TP. It's like a Predator, man. It's scary. It's just like dun 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 dun. You gotta kill it, and they do manage to make that stop. So no first blood just yet here, Landon. EnVy though, they're looking for something.
And LG just trying to kind of maybe form a little bit of a box, possibly a little pinch that could come in, but EnVy's going to rush this one through. Some sniper rifle shots coming in. Replays, he's able to possibly find 2 big shots coming in from Saints. As out it is 2v3. That's going to be active camo and used there as well. Can stay alive. He's able to shut down Replays. So a fantastic trade out of him. 1v2 situation for X. He's been in this one many times. He's obviously a veteran.
Let's be careful.
But can he find this player behind him? Some firings, a little bit of shots with the M8. Decides to back up, but like that again, LG kind of forming a little bit of a nice swarm kind of around. Sent 2 players through ACs, and in the end, when you're locked down in Palace, that's the hard part about going to A. Like I said, just in general, catching the enemy off guard. You've got to get that bomb down so quickly, and it just didn't happen. LG realizing that, sent a 2 players on the pinch, and
yeah, and the other thing too, right? So Aix ran out that way because, you know, typically you would imagine that he would be overlooking the bomb site, right? That makes a little bit more sense because, you know, you can get that read. But LG, they're tossing everything at the wall here and seeing what sticks. And so far, I've enjoyed their flanks and the pincer plays that they've had quite a bit. But Slasher with that early pick on John, that's going to be a huge stop for them. But what I want to know is, who has streaks right now in LG? So they do have an overdrive. That won't be used until next round probably when they get that 5 rounds in. And I believe
Replays is the only player who has really.
No, Spacely has his overdrive, and he has streaks. Sorry, yeah, he has streaks. Oh, beautiful shot out of Replays, man. That SVG, that's why you just got to ban that one out. It is so difficult to play against. And Replay is going to drop all the way back. It's going to be a 2v3. Teep and Slasher now. looking to make some magic happen. Teep able to get that kill. Huge kill there. Looking for another one. Can't quite find it, though. Now it's going to be all up to Slasher with his M8. And he can't do anything because Replays is there with the SVG. Now you're going to see that overdrive come into play here. You should go to Spacely because he's going to get in their face immediately.
Without a doubt. And you can see this final shot coming in from Replays. We'll see how it looks. A little bit of a jump shot as he's able to take Slasher's head off completely. And that's just been the hard part. And I guarantee when it comes to another Search and Destroy, which we'll have in the series, got to get rid of the SVG. At least in some cases, kind of combat him. It's just not really been an answer for the guys. We're obviously going to hop on board with Spacely off the break. So he is going to have that overdrive. Does he opt to use it? He will. So turning on the Jets over into A and then kind of read this one off the break. This is a possible early first blood for Spacely.
He's going for that
he's going on the flank.
He's pulling an nade shot here, man. He's going full flank, forever flanking.
I believe, as well. Psychosis being used. That's why you see so many of those red arrows on the mini map.
He's going to get him.
He's going to possibly find one. Guaranteed one, but barely takes him out. Slasher finding some two kills in his own regard.
That was a failed flank.
He ends up dropping out Teep with the bomb.
That was a failed flank. When you want to flank like that, typically you want to be able to get at least 2 kills. And that Kuda just could not wrap up the kills quick enough, right? It was a really, really tough situation for him to play out of. But despite that, though, I like what Replays is doing here. He's looking to get real sneaky. Pops up, finds one in front, but really can't do much when you have 2 players pointing their barrels at your face. Replays will fall. 5-3, Envy looking to come back here, but I'm worried, man, because Replay still has those streaks.
He does. And I was kind of curious if he would use it in that situation. I mean, it's a 1v3, high risk. I mean, guaranteed you're most likely not going to win. Yeah.
They could sacrifice the round because they're okay. Right. They know that's why they use overdrive there, right?
Exactly.
Because it's like, you know what? We have this one unlocked. If overdrive doesn't work and get us to round win, we have the streaks as a fallback.
Without a doubt. And we're going to see how how Replays decides to use those. Use it in an offensive fashion is going to be the question, as it will be looks like it to be a 4-man push for the side of Envy on their defensive side. We'll see if anyone possibly has active camo and use there from Slasher. It's not really going to happen as he gets first blooded. Now some shots coming in, and that's going to be Teep finding a nice 2-piece. Now Aches left in a 1v2 situation. The kinetic armor in use. Player on bomb. Can he find the kill? He does. Fantastic play. And now John in search in the 1v1 situation. Can he take down this player? And he does. Fantastic shots coming in from John as Luminosity are going to be able to edge this game number 2 out as they're up 2-0 versus Envy. Fantastic plays, really, just in general, as John cleans it up. And that's going to be, like I said, Luminosity 2-0 up versus Envy. I guarantee this was not at all a expected prediction out of this game.
Not at all. And also, I just want to comment, right? You know, for those people who may be wondering why didn't he use the streaks, it's because he didn't have to, right? If they wanted to sacrifice 1 or 2 rounds, they totally could have because they had those streaks still on their person, right? That was like I don't want to say a get out of jail free card, but it definitely was something that was going to be like an ace in their pocket, right?
Exactly.
Especially that lightning strike, because that's just going to give you vision on where the enemy was going to be, unless he already used the ping, but I think it resets every round. Then again, could be wrong. But despite that, though, Slasher had a good showing for Envy, 10-7, but Replays was the superstar of that matchup right there. Those SVG shots, that's why you ban it, people, because people like Replays can go off and cause a lot of problems. Disruptor, without a doubt.
For sure, and we'll see how that kind of fares off as we get ready to head into, I believe, our next map, which is going to be Infection Uplink. So we'll see how this one kind of fares off. I
haven't seen Infection all weekend.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good point. I don't think we've seen it really up to this point. You can see a little bit of highlights from that previous game, as it was Slasher who picks up a great kill, gets the melee. That looked to be possibly where Envy that kind of put them on the run, and then you see Replays doing some fantastic work in his own regard, takes that one and also drops the second. Replays definitely the main guy throughout that entire game. As he just really went to work with that sniper rifle.
He was a playmaker, right? And that's why Replays. He also mentioned it in the pre-match interview, right? He said we've been working a lot on our S&D game. Their S&D game has been on point lately, and they're proud of it, right? Like, in this shows. This right here is a testament to how much work LG has been putting in to their search and destroy. But now the question's going to be, can they go toe-to-toe with a very angry Envy on Uplink? I think they can personally, but again, I really want to be able to continue casting, so I just want to, see Envy answer back so we can get that guaranteed game 5, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that was an awesome matchup. That was a display of skill without a doubt from Replays, man, showing what he could do.
For sure. And we talked about it in that interview. He says we're confident